When you're often stuck in your head overthinking things, it can be really hard to be fully present in your life. Maybe you notice that it comes up even more when you sit down to relax or take a break, making it hard to fully experience your life. And maybe when you're spending time with your friends, family, or colleagues, you might notice that inner monologue that comes up, having thoughts about the future, the past, what that other person is thinking, what could be done differently, what could go wrong. That makes it really hard to feel as though you're actually experiencing and living your life. In this episode, I'll be sharing how to combat those struggles so you can actually be present in your life, living it instead of constantly just thinking about it. This is episode 90. Welcome to Calmly Coping. My name is Tati, and I am a licensed therapist and coach specializing in high-functioning anxiety. I help high achievers overcome high-functioning anxiety so they can finally stop overthinking everything. If this topic interests you, then please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time I release a new episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's about the journey, not the destination. At the risk of sounding extremely cliche, I think that quote definitely applies to this concept of being present in your life. If you find yourself constantly thinking about the future, the next thing that you have to do, or the next thing you want to achieve, or I'll be happy when this happens, then you might struggle with being and feeling fully present in your life. And when you can focus on the journey and actually the experience of life and what it actually feels like right now, then that's where life lies. That's where life exists. The future hasn't happened yet. The past is already gone. And so this present moment is all we truly have. And if you have difficulty with fully being present in this moment, then that can maybe feel as though your life is kind of passing you by, and it can be hard to fully be present and experience what is happening to you and the just small day-to-day things that we all go through and all experience that can make life more enjoyable. One of my favorite quotes is by Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh. I like it so much so that I have it tattooed on me. And the quote is, "Only this moment is life." And the entire quote goes, "Drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the earth revolves. Slowly, evenly, without rushing towards the future. Live the actual moment. Only this moment is life." Unquote. This is the only moment that we have. And I love that quote because it focuses on a small habit or ritual of drinking tea. And whether you drink tea or coffee or none of the above, how many times have you noticed when you're doing something or engaged in an act that you're not actually there, that maybe your mind is somewhere else, or, in this hyper-connected world, maybe you're constantly multitasking. Maybe you're drinking your tea or coffee in the morning while you're checking your phone and scrolling through Instagram, or maybe you're doing it while you're watching the news or while you're eating your breakfast and, you have a podcast playing. Oftentimes, there can be so many inputs that it can be more difficult to actually be present for the experience of what is happening right now. And one simple way that I like to return to implement this presence is by focusing on your senses. What does it feel like? What is that flavor as you're tasting that tea? What is the warmth on your lips and on your tongue? What does the warmth feel like in your hands of that mug that you're holding on to? And when you can tune into these senses and what this present moment feels like, then that can allow you to fully enjoy the present moment. And studies actually show that people are happier when they're focused in the present, when their thoughts are actually in their present moment they're experiencing rather than thinking about the future or thinking about the past. And they even found this as people were sitting in traffic. So you would think that sitting in traffic is the most miserable thing. It's stressful, it's frustrating, especially if you have somewhere to be. But they found when people's thoughts were focused in the present, whether they were sitting in traffic or doing something else, they were actually reporting that they were happier and in a better mood. And so I think this supports the fact that when you can be present and when you can let go of those constant thoughts and those constant judgments that flood through your mind, then that can allow you to feel calmer in the present. It can allow you to feel less anxious, less stressed, less depressed or sad. I'm going to focus on some tips to help you to cultivate more presence in your life in this episode. So, first, I want to take you through an exercise. I want you to pause right now and look around you. Just look and take a look around, whether, if you're driving, of course, you want to be focused on what you're focusing on, what's in front of you. But if you're not driving, if you're able to, just pause and look around and focus on your breathing. So take a breath in through your nose and into your belly. Let it out through your mouth. Take another breath in, out through your mouth. And what's going on in your mind? So, are you having any thoughts? Just notice with curiosity what's coming up for you as you focus on your breath. And be curious with your present moment experience, with what's here right now. What's here physically? So, what do you feel in your body? Do you feel any tension anywhere or tightness? And if you do, try and release that and relax that. What else do you notice? Do you notice any other thoughts that are going through your mind? Any judgments about what's happening right now? What do you notice around you? The sights, the colors, any sounds? And just recognize, do you have the desire to rush forward or to be somewhere else? And if so, just be here. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to be, just be here right now. And whenever you're ready, bringing your focus back to where you are right now, what's around you, and just checking in with yourself. What did that feel like for you? What was that experience like for you? Was that different than what your mind and what your experience is typically like? So, if you want an exercise where I walk you through a similar experience, a 5-minute short guided meditation, then I have a free guided meditation for you that you can download. It's like a 5-minute check in meditation. You can do anytime, any place. You can download that by going to calmlycoping.com/meditation. So, now let me talk about concrete tips to help you to be more present in your life. So, tip one is to pause. Pause and catch yourself. Notice if your mind is running off. Notice if you're in the future or in the past rather than being right here. And this can be one of the most difficult things to do. So I don't want to minimize how difficult this might be. But just that simple act of pausing and catching yourself, whether you're caught up in just your mind and going down this rabbit hole of thoughts, or whether you're caught up in like having all this tightness and tension in your body that's building up, just pause, take a breath, and catch yourself. And that's one way of being present, just noticing, wow, my mind was all over the place, not judging yourself for it, but bringing yourself back. And that is tip two. I kind of went ahead of myself, but is to not judge yourself. Don't judge the fact that you were thinking about the future, or you weren't present, or that you were stressing about something, or that you were stuck in this rabbit hole of thoughts. Just acknowledge that this is what's here right now. So there's no need to judge yourself for not being present or for not doing things the way that you think you should have been doing them. It's just about recognizing this is what's here right now, and that's okay. The third step is to be curious about your present moment experience. So bring a curiosity to what's happening right now, kind of like if you were a child experiencing things for the first time. And I think that this can be a great learning opportunity when you do, like if you have a child yourself, or if you're around children, like I have nephews and a niece that are young. And I think it's always so interesting to see the curiosity that they approach the world with and the newness that they experience with even the smallest things that we can take for granted. And if you can bring this curiosity and this mindfulness concept of what's called beginner's mind to your present moment experience, as though you're experiencing it for the first time, or as though you're being curious about what's here, then that can also allow you to connect with the present moment. So be curious about others around you. Be curious about what you see, and maybe the things that you see every day, actually start to notice them instead of allowing them to blend into the background. Be curious about the weather outside instead of complaining about it. Be curious about this moment that's right in front of you. And then the fourth step is to be grateful for the present, and just be grateful for what you have right now, what's here right now. Because, like I said before, it is the only moment that we ever truly have. And I think having a gratitude for the present can allow you to fully bring yourself into the present and bring that joy and that positive experience into what's here. I hope that these tips were helpful for you. And what I just shared is mindfulness. I know that many people have heard of mindfulness before, and they may see it as something that's elusive, or maybe you've tried to meditate before and you found that my mind's too busy, I can't do this. Well, mindfulness isn't just about sitting down and meditating. It's about just being present in your life. And so this can look like small moments and small pockets of time where you practice presence and where you catch yourself. And it's impossible to be present in your life 100% of the time. So it's just about finding and catching these little moments where you can experience presence. And you've already done it. You just practice it today, so you can definitely do it again. So I want you to take these tips or these steps and practice more presence in your days. So step 1 is to pause. Step 2 is to not judge yourself. Step 3 is to be curious. And step 4 is to be grateful for the present. And if you want more guidance on this process, then you can download my free 5-minute guided check-in meditation by going to calmlycoping.com/meditation. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you are watching this on YouTube, then leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought of this episode and of this practice in presence. While you wait for next week's episode, I have other episodes about decreasing anxiety, adopting a healthy mindset, and managing your time and energy. So be sure to check out these episodes here. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and until next time, be calm.